This is the plaintiff, Jose Juan Guerra Jr. He says he bit into some chocolate deep-fried ice cream he had for dessert at the defendant's restaurant, when all of a sudden he was in dire pain and his mouth was bleeding profusely. He went to the ER. They told him he had an abrasion to his oral cavity, and he's here suing the defendant for the $10,000. He's now out. This is the defendant, Amanda. She says this guy's out for a payday, plain and simple, and demanded she pay him $9,000, but said he would take $5,000 to make this all go away. This guy cut his mouth on a piece of plastic and now is trying to make a federal case out of it. Please. She's accused of icing a guy.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says that he bit into a sharp object in his fried ice cream, and the defendant simply will not pay him squat. But the defendant says this guy is looking for a huge payday over a tiny little mishap, and that's not fair. It's the case of icing a guy.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Guerra, you were having dinner at a restaurant, and what happened?
So me and my wife, we went out to, that was actually the first place we went out to dinner the first time we dated. So, you know, that place has a very memorable meaning to us. My wife was 7 months pregnant at the time, and she wanted sushi from that place. So we decided to go, and we went. We had a good time. And then my wife, you know, because of the cravings, she wanted to try deep fried ice cream. And that's something that we've never heard of or ever tried. So we're like, okay, you know, let's get it. So we got in, and it was like a ball of, like, just a big ball of something deep fried, you know. And as a gentleman I am, you know, I go ahead and get the first. Yes. So I go ahead, I get the scoop, you know, the first scoop, and I feed it to my wife. And I could see her face, you know, lighten up with, you know, with joy and with, you know, pleasure. So I go ahead, I get a big heaping scoop, and I put it in my mouth. And with confidence, I go ahead and I bite down, you know, very hard. And at that very moment, you know, I got the rush of adrenaline, like times a million, you know, so like something just stopped. And my wife noticed, you know, something was wrong with me. And as I opened my mouth, you know, I literally had to like pull it out, and then blood started coming out of my mouth. And as I'm right there bleeding, you know, at the time I didn't know what it was until the lady, the server, went ahead and as soon as I called for help, you know, she came. I put the piece of plastic on the plate, and she picked up the plate and she took it away, and we did not see her for 15 minutes. And I'm right there bleeding out, and my wife is giving me all her napkins, and you can literally see the table full of blood. And the thing is that they have cameras there, so that's something that I don't have to lie about. You can see the film, you can see everything, you can see a pool of blood on the table, you know, at least in my vicinity. So I go ahead.
Why did you sit there for 15 minutes? Why didn't you go to the hospital?
Well, because for one, I needed to know what it was. I kept trying to get in contact with the waiter, but she didn't come out. She stayed in the back, and then as soon as I saw her, I told her, "Oh, can you please, you know, bring me what it was, because I don't know what it was," you know. And she didn't want to, so I go ahead and I tell her, you know, if you don't bring it back to me, I'm gonna call the cops and I'm gonna tell them, because, you know, that's in risk of my own safety. You know, what if it could be something that has, you know, some rust or anything? I don't know what it is, you know.
Right.
So I go ahead and I'm putting pressure on the wound and everything. And then she finally brings out the piece with a piece of a napkin. Okay. And I go ahead and I tell her, you know, what is this? And she tells me that it's part of the container of the ice cream. So I guess the ice cream tubs, there's a container of it, and I guess a part of it broke out. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm right there, you know, rinsing out my mouth and pretty much, you know, just clearing out everything that I had. And
okay, so this on the right side is the plastic?
Yes, ma'am. That's
and on the left side is a quarter, so that I have an idea of the size of the plastic.
Yes, ma'am.
Oof,
and right there, that's the hole. Yeah, that's the hole that my mouth was left with.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you could only imagine,
fried
you
ice
know.
cream.
Yeah, well, I mean, they literally, you know, when you go there for ice cream, you really do scream when you eat it, you know. But yeah, so and
wow.
After that,
what did you end up doing? They brought you this plastic. Did you? What did you end up doing?
After that, I wanted to.
Did you go to the doctor?
Manager, yes, I did. I went to
Right.
the ER right away. I wanted to get in contact with the manager, who was, not on site. She was nowhere to be found. I got in contact with her, and as I stepped out of the restaurant to talk to her, because they used their in-house phone to call her. I stepped out of the restaurant, and they still had the audacity to bring the check with the deep fried ice cream still on it to my wife. And my wife went ahead and paid it with cash, and we got up and we left. And the lady, her name is Anna.
They charge you for the ice cream? They shouldn't charge you for anything, but they charge you for the ice cream? Wow.
They still charge me for the ice cream.
All right.
They had the audacity to do that.
So did you go to the
Exactly.
hospital, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And when I went to the hospital,
they don't put stitches there. So what did they do? They gave you antibiotics and they told you
nothing
to keep it clean. They taught you how to clean it. Do we have anything from the hospital? I know I saw the bill was $1,041, but what did insurance cover any of it?
No, ma'am, I don't have insurance. And the paper is right there.
Okay.
I went to the hospital and they gave me a tetanus shot just to make sure,
They did give you a
everything is
tetanus
done.
shot. Okay.
Yes, they did. And after
All right.
that, I just thought, after that I had to go to the dentist because, when you go to the ER, you go there to get the tetanus shot. Right there, they can't really do anything oral. So I go to the dentist after that.
So you end up going to the dentist. You go the same day?
Yes, ma'am.
A laceration of the palate, 1-inch laceration of the right middle palate area with approximately 1/2 inch depth. Slight to moderate bleeding. Avoid hot and spicy food and take antibiotics. All right. Do you have a bill from the dentist? Because you didn't provide that.
No, ma'am. Due to COVID, I've been trying to get the bills that we had, and sadly, we don't have that.
Well, I don't know. Due to COVID, you're the one who decides when to file the lawsuit. Ms. Amanda,
Yes,
were
Your
you on site when this happened or no?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So what did you hear had happened?
Well, when the incident occurred, the waitress called me and said that they explained to me what had happened. So they did put Mr. Jose on the line with me. I explained to him that once you are treated, please let me know what the outcome was, and then we can help you with whatever cost there is that you would incur from it. The next, that was the end of that. He said he was going to go to emergency and let me know. The next day, I followed up with a text to him asking what had happened. Are you okay? Is there something, that I can do? But I did not hear back from him. That the incident happened on October 4th. I did not hear back again from him until January 8th. And at that time, basically, when I finally got in contact with him, he explained to me what he had. He said, he has bills and he's asking if we can reimburse him for $9,000.
$9,000?
Yes.
Okay.
On February the 29th, he texted me asking that he spoke to his lawyer and that if we can compensate back to him $9,000 for what he had to pay and the time off work that he had.
And you thought that was somewhat excessive, I take it.
Basically, I asked him if he can please provide to us whatever bills he had. We're willing to work it out where we will help him with it, because it did happen on our restaurant thing and we weren't trying to avoid him.
Right.
We
See,
were
there's
just
two
trying
parts to every lawsuit, Mr. Guerra. One part is liability, and that is you say she did you wrong. That part is a slam dunk in this case. She admits liability. She says, yeah, he's sitting at our restaurant and unfortunately a piece of a lid was in there and he hurt himself. The second part is damages. And you're a little soft on the damages, not on the pain and suffering part. We'll talk about that in a second, but on the bills. I mean, you still don't have the bills. She's asking for the bills. You decide to go to court without the bills. We're in court and you still don't have the bills for the dentist. Was there just no bill for the dentist maybe? Maybe you just had no bill because if you paid by credit card at the dentist's office, you would have the credit card receipt for it, or you would be able to get it right offline before we started court. So I don't see anything for the dental bill. I do see an ER bill of $1,041, but you're suing for $2,000 for the ER bill. Why?
Because of all the late fees and everything. If you see when that invoice was done, it
that's
was done,
fine, but then you have to show me that. Do you have a bill that is $2,000 from the hospital? You can't just round up to the farthest thousand. You can't go from 1,000 to 2,000 because of late fees that you don't prove. And late fees are never going to be 100%. So show me the late fees that make it 2,000. You can't, right?
No, I can't.
Okay. The dental bill you do not have. Lost wages. Let's talk about that. How many days off did you take?
I believe it was 8.
Okay. Well, do you have proof of that?
No, I don't, ma'am. Everything is my word against everything else.
No. Why is it? Where do you work?
I work at hospice.
Right. So you would be able to have somebody farms you out to go have you do work, and that person could have written an affidavit or a letter on your behalf saying that on these days you couldn't work. That's how you prove a lost wages case. So tell me how, I mean, it sounds awful. It sounds like the pointy end went up. It's not like you bit it sideways. It was standing up in your and pierced the top of your mouth, and I'm sure it bled like crazy because that part of the body bleeds like crazy, and I'm sure it hurt like the dickens because I can only imagine. And so tell me how you manage the pain. Tell me about the pain.
I was able to take ibuprofen to be able to, subside the pain and the swelling and everything. To this day, I can't eat or try anything new. I can't be spontaneous anymore. I'm very careful with what I eat. Even eating a potato chip or any type of Doritos or anything like that, I can't eat them because I have the same type of, post-traumatic stress that I feel like I'm going to get it again.
Okay,
and that's
you're a
one
little
thing
dramatic,
that,
I'll be honest with you. You have a good case, but you're a little bit on the dramatic side,
A lot of people think that.
First, I was just thinking you were descriptive, but now I'm thinking you're a little dramatic.
Yeah, ma'am. If I wanted to go, and take this to, a higher case, lawsuits with just a little piece of hair gets hundreds of thousands. For me, I'm not even looking at anything like that.
If someone finds a hair in their food, they get hundreds of thousands?
I mean, there has been cases.
No, there haven't. I think I know a little more about what appropriate damages are than you do, Mr. Guerra. And it isn't, court is not for ching-ching, let the cash register ring. It's to compensate you for your damages. So I find that you have been able to prove as follows. $1,041 in the hospital bill, $29.97 in the antibiotics that you brought me a bill for, and pain and suffering, I am going to award you another $1,000 for a total of $2,070.97. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, the plaintiff only gets $2,070. Mr. Guerra, what do you think? What's your reaction? You were suing for $10,000. You didn't get anywhere near that.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. Can't go against the judge's, opinion and all that. So I'll just take it as it is.
Is it serious? You have a real problem even eating a Dorito right now? You're too careful or don't want to do that right now?
Yeah, and sadly, it's hard to believe, but,
I agree, it is hard to believe, and I feel sorry for you, but that's what you end up getting, $2,070. So, let me see what Ms. Amanda thinks about that. Ms. Amanda, how do you feel about that? Were you worried it might be a lot more, quite frankly?
Well, if we're responsible to pay whatever, and he has proof to show us, we would have given what we would owe to help him with the costs. But since he didn't have anything, it was hard for me to just base it on him telling us.
Let me ask you, has this kind of thing happened to you before, or is this like the first time?
No, this is the first time.
Well, let's hope it's the last for your benefit, okay? Be more careful with the ice cream. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what the judges feel about this. Here they are with another edition of After the Verdict.
Marilyn, as you know, I am well acquainted with dental pain, okay? My oldest brother went to dental school in the 1970s, what I like to fondly refer to as the dark ages of dentistry, and I was his guinea pig for 4 years. constantly going in and having him do this work, that work. He did
Unnecessary dental work?
unnecessary work. I have gold foils on the backs of these teeth because he had to do golds on somebody, and he did them on the back side of my front teeth. So
What's wrong with you people?
it was like a class project that he had to complete. But in any event, I would have given him a more substantial recovery on the pain and suffering, just because I don't think even for $5,000 you couldn't get me to bite down on that piece of plastic.
No, that's well, you couldn't get me to do it for $20,000, but I'm just not sure. You know, when he tells me that they gave him
ibuprofen,
yeah, like
aspirin,
if he had been taking painkillers, serious painkillers or something, it might, But I think he really hurt himself when he said, "I don't understand, a hair in your soup should get you hundreds of thousands of dollars." Then all of a sudden, it starts to look like perhaps he's just a little bit dramatic. Right. I know it hurt, and that's why he got $1,000. You would have given him more than $1,000.
I would have given him a few $1,000s for the pain and suffering. But, all judges are different, and everybody's going to evaluate the evidence a little bit differently, just like every jury would evaluate it differently.
Terrell wants to know this. Hey, Harvey. How does one protect themselves from a road rager? This guy was arrested, but now he knows where she lives and she's afraid. You go get a restraining order is what you do, and keep him 100 yards away from you. Judges will issue this, and if he violates it, you immediately call the police and they can pick him up and have him arrested. Restraining orders are good that way, especially in cases of violence.